Welcome back to my channel. It is the beginning of January and I am coming to you first and foremost with a quick new hack that I have found to work around the new Amazon KDP limitation for how many book titles you can publish at a time. If you haven't heard yet, or it's been a minute since you've published on Amazon KDP, I would recommend you go back and check out my video on the new title creation limit. Now, Amazon has never specified exactly how many titles or in what time frame the limit is, but it seems like a lot of us have been getting the same consistent messaging that after trying to publish a fourth book in a single day, a single 24-hour period, that is when we get the notification that says, you have been publishing too frequently, please try again later. One of the big keys to note as well is that this happens when you push books into draft mode, not necessarily when you push them into published mode. So for those of us who like to batch create content or only have limited off hours that we can use to publish books, this was a big hindrance because suddenly you cannot upload all your books at a time and go back and fill in the details later because you cannot publish a batch of books at one time if it's above 3. So today I wanted to jump in and quickly show you a little bit of a workaround that I have been using and it has really helped me. I honestly am hesitant to share this because I figure as soon as more of us know about it and more people do it, they will tighten the screws again and we won't have access or the ability to do this. But then I figured, honestly, those of you who had found my channel and or watching this video are my buddies in this process and would be the few people that I'd go ahead and share this tip with anyway. So let's get right to it and look behind the scenes at my KDP account. Now, like I said, it seems like the limit is currently publishing a maximum of 3 books into draft mode in a 24-hour period. However, based on my experience, the loophole is that once a book is in draft mode, you are able to push more than 3 books into the published mode to actually get them into review to go live. So for me, here's what that looks like. Historically, I spent a couple of days a week creating books. I didn't go through the process of uploading them or publishing them. Instead, I would create 2 or 3 books at a time and then maybe sit down once a week or sometimes even once every 2 weeks and go through the process of uploading everything, titling them, writing out the descriptions. And often that's because a lot of the descriptions I could copy and paste because they all included the amount of pages used, the fact that it was a coloring book, the target audience of kids, whatever it was, I could streamline that process and make it work a lot faster through batch work. However, with the new policy and the title creation limit, the new limit put a barrier for me on being able to reach my goals this year, which includes to double the amount of books I have available. And based on that math, I have to create about 350 books. However, if I'm only able to publish 3 books a day, that means I would have to log in every single day to KDP just to upload 3 books at a time. And of course, that means I'd have to make them all the night before, go online the next day, and so on. For me, that's not feasible. It's not going to happen that way. My creative process doesn't work that way. My family life and time schedule doesn't work that way. And honestly, while that might be great for long-term value, in the short term, it's not creating income for me that makes it worth blocking off hours of my day each and every day to max out those publications. So all that said, here is how I have been making the best of this situation. Every day, or at least as often as I can remember, I try to make a point to sign into KDP and create my 3 draft books. Now, I know I just said that I don't have time or flexibility for that, but what I do is I create the draft slot. So I simply go in here, create a very minimal, let's say draft 1, and I think you might even need an author name, but I don't even fill that all out. And then I scroll straight to the bottom where you can save as draft. Now you can see I just did this actually last night because I forgot it in the morning, but I went ahead and did it at the end of the day. So I am being blocked while I try to record this because I have my 3 draft modes. And for those of you who haven't seen the notification, this is all it says. You have attempted to exceed the number of books, etc. So all it does is not allow you to save the draft, which is why I go in and plug in the bare minimum, because it would be incredibly frustrating to have filled out all of these details only to see that you were not able to keep any of it, even in draft mode. So yes, if you do see that message, it will force you to continue without saving. Even though it gives you this option, it won't work. So you will have to continue without saving. But you can see that I have been doing this for several days. So I have up to draft 15 hanging out here. And none of these books have anything other than the bare minimum detail that I just showed you. So even though I do have the notification that I cannot publish anything else right now, I do not get stopped when I want to work on one of the books that's already in draft mode. So if we go in here to, let's say, what I've called draft 14, and let's just add some detail to it, and I'll just say draft 14 testing. The description is a test, and I own the copyrights. Let's just put a little bit of extra detail and see what it does. And you'll notice that this time it will say save successful. So because this book was already in draft mode, I can actually go through and continue working on it to get it published. And of course, I do need to fill in a few more categories to be able to save and continue. Let's just pick a category here, show it it's a low content book, save and continue. And you'll see that now we can get to that next stage where we can work on the print options, the size, and the big piece for me, upload the paperback manuscript and the cover, which at this point I would have had time to create and upload. And yes, it will let me save and continue, head to pricing, and push through for a publication review. Now remember, before you question me as to whether this is actually just creating 3 books ahead of schedule, and you might be thinking, how is this any different than if I just published 3 a day as opposed to using a draft spot to publish? How it's helped me is that A, I have those draft spots filled. So when I create, I am able to upload the manuscripts and book covers and keep them in draft mode like that, which is one of the systems that I have set in place for myself to remember the books I've created and make sure that they don't just sit in a file folder somewhere. So for me, the faster I can see them physically in draft mode on my bookshelf, the more likely I am to make sure I get them all the way pushed through to going live. But the other benefit, and the reason that I kind of call this a loophole right now, and I think we might only have a short period of time before they tighten the screws on us here, is because so far I have been able to publish more than 3 books at a time when I've used this process. So while I can only put 3 books at a time into draft mode, I have successfully pushed through at least 5 books at a time in one sitting, all the way to the end of save and continue, hit pricing, and the book is now in review. So hopefully this hack helps some of you out there, and I hope I don't get a lot of angry messages from other folks saying that this is skirting the issue. But obviously Amazon will tell us when there's a problem and stop us if they don't want this to occur. But as of right now, it has really been a helpful tool for me to be able to continue using somewhat of my batch work system and still be able to bulk upload a little bit more than I would have if I was truly limited to only 3 a day. This makes it a lot easier for me to continue to reach my goal of publishing 10 to 20 low content books weekly and still allow me that flexibility of working on whichever single day or 2 during the week I actually have capacity. If you are new to Amazon KDP, make sure to check out the other videos on my page, and please subscribe, follow along, hit the notification bell. I have really been enjoying this journey, and I would love to help you grow your Amazon KDP business in 2024 as well. If you find this hack helpful or it ends up working for you, or especially if you have any other tips to share, please go ahead and drop a comment below. I would love to hear how the journey is going for you. Until next time. Bye.